I'm Guru. I am a creative entrepreneur here in Springfield, and this is my piece called Mongru. I painted her in 2022, and it's actually a portrait of a photo of younger me. And I named it Mongru because that's the nickname that my mom used to call me. Well, it's not really a nickname because it's my last name, but my mom, her name for me is Mongru. And at the time, actually, I painted this to go into an exhibit that my friends and I were creating for ourselves. In 2022, when I painted this, it was a tribute to me getting back to my creativity and living in my truth of creativity. I think that younger me was very innocent, to say the least, very wide-eyed, seeing the world and seeing people, and I just kind of have been on a journey to see the world like that again. And so that's where the inspiration came from for this piece. My style, if you can't see, it's portrait with no facial features. And at first, it's just simply because I just didn't want to learn how to paint features. But actually, I started to learn that people enjoy the featureless portrait. A lot of people have told me like it kind of allows the viewer to assume the emotion of the painting. So I went with it.
I'm David Andrews. I'm a mixed media artist. It's a pretty long, short process. I use hornet's nest, graphite, and in this piece, color pencil, and then text from various books. What I do is, well, for the words, I have a tin of words that I cut out of different books, and I just take some out, put them on the table, and sort through them, and something strikes me, I'll go with that flow. And then the hornet's nest is just the representation of the sting truth can have, because with this piece anyway, listen to what your needs are and become the someone that you like. It takes a lot of inner looking to figure out what your own needs are, because we're always so worried about taking care of the needs of other people, not worrying about ourselves, and not being in that selfish way, but in that self way.
My name is Glenn Yarnell, a digital photographer focusing on abstract digital photography.
What kind of brings you to that kind of style of art?
It started when I was thinking about how when we're walking around in nature, if we go on a hike, we're looking around and we look up and we look all over the place. And when we're walking around in the city, we have our phones out and we're walking and we're looking down and we're not seeing anything, but it's still our environment. And so I started trying to think of ways to make it so that, like, what's there that we're not seeing? And so I started looking at, like, what are the colors, what are the shapes, what are the feelings that are coming out of some of these buildings that we can pull out if we stop and look at it. The top one, I was on a vacation in Florida and there were some flowers. It's a close-up of a flower, but for the editing and when I was looking at it, it started looking more and more like one of those older style like filament lights. And so I kind of enhanced it into there, but so that was originally a flower that I thought had more of a light feature to it. This one actually is, I think, the more interesting story. It's the new parking garage in Springfield. This is it. Through doing multiple images, flipping the image, some distortions and colors, I was able to kind of pull a lotus flower out of the parking garage.
So my name is Danielle. I go by Nagy Broad. That's my artist name. I am a visual media artist, so I paint, and I'm also a rapper. So I completed this in several sessions. This is an acrylic piece. It says follow yourself home, which for me means trusting your intuition and your instinct to know that you have everything inside of you to make the right decisions that'll help you ultimately be a better person. No matter the trials and tribulations or the things that may be on your back or the hole you might feel like you're in, you can supersede all of that through trusting yourself and your instinct. And people say like things like, oh, home's where the heart is, or you make me feel at home, but really home, you're it, right? Like you are the home. And so to make yourself the most comfortable you can feel at home, because everybody wants to feel comfortable at home. Everyone wants to feel safe at home. Trust your instincts. You'll make a better life for yourself. This is actually one of the characters I create a lot in my artwork. This is the bottom half of the creature. But that symbolizes the trials and tribulations that are just on our backs, really just being in the matrix of life, feeling like you can never catch up. There's always that feeling right on the nape of your neck that you're just making it by, that kind of dark feeling. Looking at some of the pattern inside of the figure here, those being pillars of strength that you can call on. And I don't know if you notice, they're primary colors, so that for me means really the foundation of everything, right? It's a foundation of color theory, but it's the foundation of self as well. Some springs here. The springs, again, you can propel yourself out of this hole, out of this darkness, through following yourself home, through having that instinctual trust in yourself.
Hi guys. Hello everyone, my name is Joalis Ayala. I am an artist here in Springfield, and I also work in the nonprofit youth community programming. So this piece, I did my last year of college, so it means very dear to me. I made these characters, L and Ego. Just L is, as you can tell, getting out of some dark thoughts and issues and just like a time. And as she moves gracefully through like thinking and like a little bit of reflecting upon her life, she realizes that, and with the help of Ego, she realizes that you can change and like you're not stuck in a position forever. And it kind of gives hope to people that you're not stuck in the same spot. Ego kind of came out of nowhere. I drew him in class, and then I really love plants and just nature, and so he embodies everything of that mindset, like connecting with nature, being like knowing who you are and just being confident in that. And then Elle kind of struggles with that, as you can tell, and kind of questions everyday life. But as she kind of, Ego asks her things, makes her reflect, you kind of see that they're starting to think similarly, and that she can also think positively and get out of those dark thoughts. And so that was kind of using this character as my motif of like expressing those feelings and then having Ego combat those feelings to like, yeah. Yeah.
My name is Richard Johnson. I'm an artist from Springfield, Massachusetts, and Instagram handle is Ruffin. And this is my art. So I'm a community leader, so I do a lot of things in the community about connecting generations. So I try to put that in my art. So this piece in particular is speaking to 3 generations. The urban generation with the modern day clothes and necklace and shades, and then you have little bit ways of a generation back, connecting the Underground Railroad pattern. So this is the pattern that they used during the Underground Railroad, which is called monkey wrench. And this would communicate to slaves that to gather your tools, gather your belongings, it's time for us to go on that journey to freedom. And then the African mask is symbolizing the spirituality of it all and connecting way back to your ancestry from across the ocean. And so just bringing all 3 of those generations together to modern day times here and now. And that's pretty much what we carry on us on a regular basis. Again, the masks, you can't see their face on the mask, so there's a lot of characteristics on their hands and feet. That was done on purpose, just again to show the kind of distinction and the work that it takes to do what you need to do.
My name is Amy Dawn Cotel, and I am an artist, a mom, a dancer, a personal trainer, and a community creator. So I have 2 pieces that I offered to this space. This one I did first, and it's a lot of circles, within circles, within circles. And then I started doing this during the pandemic when my daughter was home with me, and she was suffering a lot from being homeschooled and just not connecting with other humans. And this was my way of dealing. I was already starting back to art. I had been a dance person for a long time and doing my personal training, but everything stopped. So I started doing a lot of circles on a page, and then I would erase and then add, and they ended up being these sky shapes. And then sometimes I would create creatures with circles, whatever with circles. And then this is about what I think the world needs to be doing now. Actually, a lot of my work is about what I want to see. I feel like if you don't put it out there, it's not going to happen. And right now, we need to be uniting together to fight against tyranny and against the very few that are in charge who don't give a crap about anybody else and are willing to burn it all down just so they can keep their money and go to Mars.
My name is Deja, and my art name is Fizz, and I am an artist. I'm a self-taught artist. I've been painting since I was like 4 years old, like 5 years old, and now I do intuitive work. I went through some spiritual stuff where my art was basically unlocked, and because before I was only ever able to paint while looking at stuff and copying things, but after that I can create whatever I want, and now I do a lot of trauma related and personal vulnerable pieces to help people talk about real feelings that we feel all the time and we tend to hide or not really talk about with other people. For this piece, I actually did this in 4 hours the day of the deadline. It's out of oil pastel. The woman is made from acrylic paint. But what's happening here is that everything that she knew has been destroyed. And regardless of the destruction around her, she does understand that there's life inside of her body, but she doesn't fully understand the full extent of life that is soon to come in the future. And then her tears are running down into her stomach, which represents the fact that we all need pain in order to grow and to turn into something completely different than what we already know. And it comes with letting go of things that we used to know and allowing the pain, like holding on to the pain and letting us work through it. The sun represents joy coming in the morning because another day outside of the ground is better than being dead and not having the opportunity to live.
The name of this exhibit, this group show, is Out of the Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
What does that phrase mean to you? What does it mean to make it out of the darkness?
It's right here. Going back to hard times and how people, especially people of color, can be so resilient. So coming out of the darkness, coming out of slavery, and communicating that. How do you get out of slavery? And being creative in that process to get that message to the right people so they can get their way to freedom. So my job was to just try to put that on a paper. And again, this is something that's connecting generations. So again, just going from one generation to the next generation, carrying that message, whether it's being said or it's something you feel inside of you spiritually.
So this piece is literally kind of getting out of a dark time, which I love that it represents. So when you're in a dark time, you kind of never see the light of it unless maybe some community or someone helps you, and that's kind of like, and within yourself to see that you can change. That kind of just encompasses this whole story, and the darkness never lasts, and you'll be able to enjoy the richness of all life that has to offer when you kind of get out of the darkness. Yeah.
That's a good question. If I'm going to be honest, I don't think there can be light without darkness. And actually, this has been a trying time for me lately. And I think that knowing that you just have to wait things out for happiness and light to come again, that always brings me hope. Knowing that any hard time that I've gotten out of before, I've gotten out of it. So there will come a time again where I'm out of the darkness. Again, I feel like this theme of inner child work is a really good approach to finding a more meaningful approach to life, and also just innocent and reclaiming your innocence. Life hits us really hard when we're adults, and when you do inner child work and you kind of get back to the dreams that the little baby in you wanted to live out, I think that's the best way for you to get out of the darkness. So, yeah.
To be able to stay strong enough mentally to be able to see the dark as peace and not to be afraid of it. And that out of darkness comes light, comes beauty. You think about a seed, it has to die before that flower can crack through that seed, that shell. And this piece is a part of a series that's titled Small Thoughts, Huge Impact. And it's just that, just a simple small thought that'll get a person's mind to thinking, maybe hopefully in a different perspective.
I think that into the light means finding the positive things that are someplace, finding the things that are there that you might not see, and that each one of these, looking into the middle of them, there's kind of a glow that comes out of them that I'm feeling. This one here, it really was looking at something that was a new parking structure. But as I was looking at it and kind of manipulating the shapes and everything, this color and this light came out of it, this yellow and this glow came out of it, and so it just kind of came out of it to me.
I think every day is a moment where I either have darkness or light. I used to have a spiritual guide person who used to say to me, Amy, you Americans, you always think you have to be happy. Not everything's happiness, and you need to be able to sit with sensation even if it's not happy, So I think to be out of darkness, you have to sit with your darkness. Then you can heal it and go through it and show up. And I think for me, some people are internal processors. For me, it's noticing that there's hope and looking for support. Look for, like Mr. Rogers used to say, look for the helpers. So if you're in darkness, ask someone to sit with you in your darkness and then have them help you come out of the darkness. And when someone helps you, it helps them out of the darkness too. So if I'm having trouble with my darkness, sometimes the way to get out of it is to show up for someone else. It's just all a spiritual, cyclical thing. Help yourself, you help someone else, they let them help you, you're helping them. It's one big party.
Woo! Man, it means you gotta fight. It means you have to really come to terms and understanding, like, you gotta move on. You can't hold on to all the pain, because it's only going to destroy you. It's only going to wither you away. And I allowed it to wither me away for a very long time, for like 10 years, and nothing good came out of it. I didn't treat people kindly. I didn't treat myself kindly. And it was just a life of death while being alive. But when you let go of that darkness, you can choose life. You can choose to be happy. You can choose to have meaning. You can choose to let go, and it's your choice to let go.
So to me, being out of the darkness is being able to find and make moments of joy regardless of what's going on around you. Because what I'm finding as I get older and older is happy is not really a thing. You have to make those moments of happiness. I have a phrase I like to use called make your own luck. You kind of got to stir things up in a way that are beneficial to you. You can't just let life happen to you. You got to make the joy. So coming out of the darkness to me is like pushing yourself up out of the darkness.
Any last words that you want to share?
Thank you for interviewing me. You're awesome.
No, I'm just glad people love my work and can tell the story because it means a lot to me, and I'm glad that it can relate to a lot of people, and that I can continue to help people see their stories in art.
And do you have any last words you'd like to share? Any
words of wisdom. Well, just if you find something that you like to do, do it. Don't be afraid. Just trust in it. Just trust in it. Yeah. And enjoy what you do in life.
I would like to say that for anyone who feels like they're dead while waking up every day, and I believe that there's life still outside there for you, but you just have to want it, you have to find it, and you have to be actively looking for it. Don't give up on it, because it's out there and it's looking for you too, and it's waiting for you actually.
I'm honored to be exhibited here at Art for the Soul Gallery. If you are unfamiliar with this place, please come check it out. They do so many great programming events. This is a show for local artists like me to get the opportunity to show their work. So please come out and support.